Hello everyone, let us start with Lab 9, Population Ecology. Let's at first a little talk about carrying capacity. Is the maximum number of individuals in a species that an environment can support for a long time. Carrying capacity is limited by the energy, by water, by space, and by oxygen. That as you can see, all of them are limiting factors. As you can see, when a population nears to carrying capacity, resources become limited. Let's take a look at the fish that lives in the fishbowl. Life here is plentiful. There is plenty of space. There is food to eat. There is energy from the sun, and they are able to reproduce. However, as they reproduce, the resources become limited, and the population size are limited by space and the amount of food. Here they have reached the carrying capacity, so we can say the largest population that an environment can support is called carrying capacity. In previous example, limiting factor was the size of the bowl, the amount of water, or the temperature. And any of these can limit the number of fish that can survive in the fishbowl. But there are some limited factors which depend on the number of organisms. For example, the amount of food available for each organism depends on the number of organisms in that ecosystem. So another limiting factor that depends on the population size can be competition. Competition is a process in which the fitness of one species is significantly lower in the presence of another species. The resources are limited, so it is competition between them. So whenever the resources remain limited, but instead of two species start fighting for the same resources, there arises competition. Now let's look at another example. Let's look to these two groups of fish, which both eat from the same source. So there exists a competition between these two. Now whoever is more capable and more powerful will win over the sources and will get it. And what will happen to the other one? The other one which remain deprived of food, and it will lose out in competition. So in a competition, it is always one species which will win and the other one will lose. As you can see, two closely related species competing for the same sources cannot coexist. That means two species which are very similar, they need similar resources, and they are competing for the same resources, and they will not exist together for a long time. So one of them will finally lose out. So these two species cannot coexist if they are competing for the same resources. In this lab, you will see how competition for natural resources in the environment can affect population growth, and you will see how availability of resources can be limiting for populations. In this lab, we will analyze the population growth of two species of Paramecium. Record your data in the table, convert the table to a graph, answer the question in the journal, and submit the journal and the graph as PDF files. If you have any questions, please email me. Good luck.